I'm going to repeat this list and add a few things. One thing I found, if I don't make a conscious effort to talk slowly, carefully, concisely, people don't understand me. Now I'm just going to repeat this list, add a few things that are relevant. Some of them relevant, one of them is not. But anyway, let me start with Laura. Her YouTube channel is Nigella for me. In about 2 or 3 of her videos, she's talking about something that's had her worried for several days, leaving her sleepless and that type of thing. And if I understand her, now she's hard to understand sometimes. She talks, more carefully than me. She's more concise than me normally. But if I understand it, there's 2 of her friends that are not friends with each other, and that's caused concern for her. And why that is, I don't get it. I don't understand why that she's worried about it. But that's her life and not mine. But if I were in Laura's shoes, I'd just say, these are 2 of my friends, and if they're not friends with each other, that's their problem and not mine. That's the way I'd face it. I may not be understanding her situation, and she needs to be a little bit more concise in her explanation of that. Let me get to, I don't remember exactly how I'd covered these. The Ghost Rock. That was JP Videos. I think his name is Jason. He does not all of his videos. He did one from Las Vegas. If Jason wanted to do a collab video with me, hey, we'd go hike that waterfall hike, or we'd go hit Squaw Peak. I'll get to Squaw Peak in another video. It's called Piestewa Peak. I've covered that quite a few times, but if Jason wants to do a collab video with me here in Arizona around the Phoenix metro area, hey, let me know. Hey, if you want to do a tribute video for Adam the Woo, we'd go do the Hobo Joe down there in Buckeye. But that Ghost Rock, one of his videos, he's somewhere where a rock, a small rock, falls close to him. And I thought probably some ghost up there just tossed the rock down and wanted to get his attention, wanted to say, hey, I'm here. Yeah, you never know. Hoist. Yeah, that my I showed you part of my engine hoist. Now the comment I had, I actually used it yesterday. I'm gonna get to that in a minute here. I had actually bought that just before I had met Sherry. That's mother of a little daughter that we share. Now my little daughter is grown; she's got kids of her own. So I've had that hoist for many years. It's outlasted several girlfriends, and it's moved around. There's another wild story I'm going to tell you in another video of a guy that I loaned it to and almost didn't get this crazy hoist back. I'll cover that in another video. Let's see. Marriage. This is a wild story. This goes back to the time of Dear Abby. Now, there's going to be a few of us with gray hairs and all that that remember Dear Abby. Dear Abby was an advice column. Abigail Van Buren, that was her name. But anyway, she gave the advice, commented in the advice column in the newspaper. It was a nationwide, but different newspapers would subscribe to it. But anyway, people would write in, let's say Martha and Fred, were a married couple, not their real names. They'd write in, okay, Martha's, she's not happy with her husband, watching football all the time and not paying attention to her, or Fred doesn't want to go out to, they don't want to do the things that they did when they were younger. She would get advice on that. But, they would have people, a real Martha and Fred, write in and say, are you talking about us? Because that fits us. And Dear Abby would go, nope, that's not their real name. I'm not going to tell you the real name of this couple. But anyway, someone had wrote in and asked Dear Abby one time. Now, in a marriage ceremony, the minister conducting the ceremony will generally ask if anybody here objects to these 2 getting married. Speak now or forever hold your peace. So, they had asked if, but apparently, a minister had said that at one time someone, some lady did stand up and say, hey, I don't want to see these 2 get married. So the minister had taken the lady back to his private study just so he didn't, he wanted to keep that private, between him and the lady making the objection. And anyway, after about 15, 20 minutes, he set the lady down and at the end of the ceremony said, look, what what this lady had to say is not relevant to these two couple. I'm going to continue the ceremony. So I thought that was interesting. Now another, um, this was Dear Abby hasn't been in publication for many years, and they maybe archived somewhere because some of these stories are pretty good. I'm kind of thinking somebody probably did archive the old Dear Abby stories. Maybe somebody picked out the better ones. But anyway, another story that many of Dear Abby's readers found objection to her her Dear Abby's initial comment on this. But there was a lady. She was a mother of this teenage boy that apparently the neighbor lady had been having an affair with, and the lady went over to confront the neighbor lady that had having an affair with this boy, and the lady said, "Well, look, you should be proud of your son. With a little bit of effort, he could be just as good as his father." I mean, meaning that this neighbor lady had been having an affair both with the father and the son. And this, of course, this lady went ballistic and had said a handful of choice words to this neighbor lady, as one might expect. But anyway, she's writing in the Dear Abby's writing about Dear Abby's, trying to tell this lady how she should apologize for her comments, going ballistic on this neighbor lady. And me and about 1 million of Dear Abby's readers had said, look, this neighbor lady does not deserve any type of apology. This neighbor lady, well, first, she could have criminal charges. I'm sure if it happened today, she would have criminal charges pressed against her for having, for going to bed with underage kid. And this neighbor lady didn't deserve any apology. And Dear Abby did a quick 180 on this, because most of Dear Abby's readers, well, they were of the same opinion I was. Let's see. Let me get to. Let me start. Let me get to. Hang on. Oh, I need to charge my phone. I'll cover that in a minute. But anyway, Adam the Woo. Now, a number of times in some of Adam the Woo's videos, he expressed a desire to, quit YouTube, and I'm wondering if he didn't just fake his death and maybe he's living anonymously somewhere, some European country. Maybe he found a girlfriend in some European country that had visited, and he chose to deliberately fake his death. I don't know. I don't want that a rumor. Of course, maybe I will. Maybe the rumors are out there. I just haven't heard them yet. What are your thoughts? You think Adam the Woo is really gone? You think it's left us? Or you think, because the guy just looked in pretty good health. He just surprised me that he would just drop dead of a heart attack. He worked out. He was looked in pretty good health. He got around quite a bit. So I don't know. Maybe he's dead. I don't know. Maybe he's hanging out in the astral plane. Just my thoughts. What do you think? You think Adam the Woo's gone, or do you think he faked his death? Okay, let me get to my pickup engine. I was going to cover that last. Now, let me show you the valve cover gaskets. Yeah, those don't look like valve cover gaskets, do they? I got these off Amazon. They were cheaper than anybody else, so I got them. The seal I'm going to get, O'Reilly seemed to have it. I don't think AutoZone has them. Now, let me cover the instructions. This is all printed in English. This is only in English, which is kind of surprised me because I'm sure these are made in China. It says let engine cool. I keep getting it wrong. How to replace a valve cover gasket. Engine cool. Make sure the covers are not cracked. Some of them, the ones in my pickup are plastic. If turbocharged from out of plumbing, valve covers. Some. Now there's one word. It's a compound word. I've never seen it before. It says use plastic to prevent leak. It's a hyphenated leak causing nicks. No, it's a hyphen. I don't know if you see it. I'm going to enter that like the German language would do. German is really famous for these compound words. They're just a bunch of other words strung together, and this is just like that. Now it's leak, hyphen, then causing nicks. Now I know what they're talking about. Well, what's saying that if you're not real careful, then cleaning stuff up, If you use metal tools, like especially on plastic or aluminum, which are soft, you can damage the surface, or even steel. If you use pry bars to get it apart, you can mar the surface and cause leaks. That's what they're talking about. But it just surprised me that would be a hyphenated word like that, because I'm sure I don't remember ever seeing it used in that way before. It says use plastic to prevent leak-causing nicks. Also note grommets on valve cover bolts. Yeah, it comes with new grommets, and I need to find that. I need to find a little baggie because it's in my pickup somewhere. I got this from Amazon yesterday. I ordered all these just before I parked my pickup. It was just leaking too much oil. Now it does, from the oil on the engine, the seal looks pretty dry. So I'm thinking it's probably the valve cover gaskets. I could have done these without taking the engine out. Now the seal, the way that seal is actually constructed, there's a little aluminum piece over the back cover that you got to take off first, and then you can dig down the seal. I'm not sure if you got to take the bearing, the rear main bearing apart or not to get that seal out. I need to put the engine up on the stand. I'll show that once I get it up there. And let me show you the oil pan gasket again. I keep it in the box. I keep it nice. It looks right. This is oil pan gasket, all one piece. Now, other engines I've taken apart were like in about 3 different pieces. The front cover gasket would be one piece. The main body of the oil pan would be 2 side rails. It just depends upon the setup of the engine, because they vary a little bit. They vary a little bit in construction. It's been a couple of years since I've done any major work like that. Pulling an engine out to do the seal, do the valve cover gasket is like a major operation. But a bunch of the freeze plugs were leaking, and you really can't get to them with the engine in place. So I wanted to do that anyway. There's a bunch of about 5 years ago, I'd had a bunch of the original freeze plugs leaking, and I couldn't find any brass freeze plugs at that time. So I've got a set now. I bought a set about 2 years ago. It turned to be a water pump leak, but I thought it was one of the freeze plugs. Anyway, I went to on the way home. I kept dumping water my pickup. Anyway, I made it. I made it to an O'Reilly's, and the guy says I don't have one individual freeze plug, but I got a full set of brass. It's about $16. I said, well, yeah, I'll buy a full set because I know I'm going to use them. Anyway, I went ahead and bought the full set, so I've still got most of those. There's about 2 rubber plugs in there. There's one back behind the starter that I've got a rubber plug in there. You just can't get to these to get in with a hammer. But once you got the engine out, you got up on a stand. They're real easy to get to. I'm gonna do make sure I got all brass freeze plugs in there. Let's see. I've covered everything here. That's thing I'm gonna cover totally unrelated. Now back in my mind, I'll toss around all kind of ideas. Now I wanted to build a dry washer. I'll explain what that is in a second. Hang on. Yeah, I thought it was a hair, but it's not. But anyway, sometimes mustache hairs fall down. But anyway, that's one thing you chicks don't have to worry about is mustache hairs, unless you're of an older age and you got a gray mustache and then have to shave. I've seen a few women like that. Seen a few women that actually shave but don't. You have to get past a certain age. You women know what I'm talking about. But anyway, let me get to a dry washer. Now, there's two or three different ways that they'll make them. Well, let me tell you what a dry washer is. Now, this is used in gold prospecting. Now, if you remember the old days, when guys would they would go to an area that, first they'd take a gold pan out there, know that this area had, very, very tiny, flakes of gold in there. They'd use a dry pan of water to, if you heard the phrase, it just does not pan out. That's what they're talking about. If there's gold in the pan, or hang on. Yeah. But anyway, in the old days, when they knew an area had gold in it, they would they would get a bunch of dirt that they know had gold in it. They would wait till the wind kicked up. They'd take a bunch of bed sheets. They would toss all the dirt, on the bed sheets. When the wind would, they would toss the material up in the air and allow it to catch back on the sheet again. The wind would blow away, the lighter dirt, and the heavier stuff, the rocks and heavier stuff would stay behind. They would keep doing that till they got it concentrated down, and at a certain point they'd have just a tiny amount of material. Listen, it's in areas that they didn't have a lot of water. If it's got a lot of water, you can run a sluice box or a long tom, something like that. Now, I do know a little bit about gold prospecting, but I'm not really real good at it. I haven't really done enough of it to be real good at it. But anyway, I've got an idea of building a dry washer. What this dry washer does, there's a fan in there, and it vibrates, and the dirt that you think has gold in there, will filter down through the dry washer. Air will puff up from the bottom, and it will blow the lighter stuff away. And by the time you get all the way down, it's concentrated. And at a certain point, you can take your gold pen and refine it down further. That's what. But anyway, I've got an idea of using a 12-volt fan and a 12-volt shaker motor on a dry washer, and getting enough solar panels up. You just pick out a particular area, camp out there for a few days. Maybe one of the GPAA claims, or if I've never been a member of the Roadrunners. The Roadrunners are more localized here in the Southwest U.S. And the GPA is more nationwide. Anyway, the GPA had some claims up in Canada. I don't think they've got anything out of the U.S. or Canada. But anyway, camp out in one of these claims, get enough solar cells to power a small mining operation up there. And if some chick is interested in joining me for something like this, hey, let me know. I'll build a totally DC power supply, so we're not running off little gas engines and stuff. Just kind of my idea in this. It's more in the planning stage, more in the idea stage. I haven't got it past that yet, and at some point I'll get it refined down where I could actually probably just go up, rejoin the GPA, maybe like in the fall sometime when we got nice weather. Head up some of the GPA has got a bunch of claims up in the Bradshaws, up along the Alfred River and like that. So hang on. The stupid hair. But anyway, set up. I need to build a dry washer that I can power from a couple of 12-volt DC motors. Now, traditionally they would use leaf blower motors. You'd have to run them off of gasoline, so you would be spending money, for gasoline running these leaf blower motors. But if you're getting all solar, you're just pretty much up there on your own. You're not going back and forth to buy gasoline. You see where I'm going with this. If some chick is by herself, maybe she's widowed or something, and wants some guy to go with her to run a mining operation, hey, let me know. Let's see, I covered everything here. Hope I really need to work on making my videos more concise. Work on because that's what, just make my videos and I say, I don't think anybody understands me. I talk too fast. I'm a bit incoherent. I need to dumb it down so the lesser informed people. That's one thing that Sabina Hossenfelder, she doesn't dumb down her videos. Sometimes I got to listen to Sabina Hossenfelder's videos. That's her name of her YouTube channel, Sabina Hossenfelder. She covers a lot of ground, and I think Sabina's watching my videos. And Frau, ich liebe dich, Frau. Auf Wiedersehen. Ciao.